Hi and welcome to this video on digital inclusion. We will be joined by Romilly Gregory and Rihanna Walcock. Hi Romilly, would you mind just introducing yourself and then just explain a little bit more about what we mean by digital inclusion?
Hello Saika, thanks for inviting me. My name is Romilly Gregory. I'm a CBT therapist and I used to work in IT, so I've been researching and running training on use of technology to support mental health. I'm also Treasurer of the Equality and Culture SIG and I lead the digital inclusion workstream. So the term digital inclusion is often used by the NHS and government and so on to help focus efforts on preventing digital exclusion. So to ensure that digitally delivered services think about, from the outset, accessibility for a wide range of groups in society. But we in the Equality and Culture SIG are using the term digital inclusion more broadly than that, really, to also look at the opportunities for digital access to help overcome and break down some of the barriers to existing services for mental health services that members, for example, of the Black and minority ethnic communities face, both now and in the future. Many people from Black and minority ethnic communities and other communities don't feel comfortable for different reasons with accessing traditional services, but sometimes they're more comfortable to access information online. It can be really good information about mental health. They can find creative expression and solidarity for their experience, peer support and so on. And Rihanna's going to give us some examples of this in a minute. All this tech is coming our way. We've already got a lot and more is coming our way, and we need to keep on top of both the opportunities and the threats and risks to ensure the technology that we promote and adopt has co-creation, safety, equality of access, inclusion and ethics built in right from the start.
Rihanna, can you just tell us a little bit more about the project that you've been involved with?
Hello and thank you for inviting me. My name is Rihanna Walcock. I'm a PhD student looking at Black digital identity at King's College London, and I also co-edited an anthology about BAME mental health in the UK called The Colour of Madness. So following on from what Romilly said, I am talking a little bit about how digital inclusion is relevant to my work and my projects. So for our editing of the book, The Colour of Madness, digital inclusion became really important for the ways in which we curated discussions about mental health and the way that we access these mental health narratives. So myself and my fellow co-editor, Dr. Samara Linton, we both came from a very similar background. We were both Black young women from London who'd gone to, had a university background. And we wanted to ensure that the narratives we included in our collection didn't just reflect us, that they also were inclusive of a wide range of backgrounds. And for that, our campaign, our digital social media campaign, was very necessary in finding people who came from all of these different backgrounds. Digital communities, even when I just think about social media spaces like Tumblr, like Twitter, where a lot of people who maybe would not have had access to the kinds of conversations that are had in mental health spaces and by experts, it makes a lot of the terminology more accessible to people. A lot of the ways in which younger people talk about mental health and about depression, it does lessen the taboo, lessens the stigma, and there are certainly plenty of spaces online where people of colour in specific gather, like Facebook groups, like Twitter hashtags, and of course, like Tumblr, people gather around a shared experience and are more comfortable sharing about their own personal experiences with healthcare systems that might not have been as easy to do outside of those spaces and with traditional healthcare systems. I also have worked with a research project, an NHS research project called Project Neon, and what they do is that they are looking at digital methods of mental health service provision by collating mental health recovery narratives and looking at how algorithms can match people with a recovery narrative that is most suited to them and that might help them. So that is one way in which I think that digital inclusion has some really fruitful possibilities.
Thanks, Rihanna. And how can people get in touch with you?
Thanks very much for having me, and if you're interested in any more of my work, you can find it at rihannawalcott.com.
Thank you, Romilly and Rihanna, for sharing some ideas and thoughts with us. I think it's a reminder to the rest of us actually that we do need to be thinking about how do we reach out to diverse communities. And I know for some communities they don't have access to internet, and how do we still keep an eye on those communities so that they're not being excluded. So thank you very much, and I hope we can hear from you again in the future.